we got artists and I have to find out who this is so I can give them proper credit. But the music is on westcoastempowerment.org on their website. Love it. Love it. I'm on Instagram. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you, Louis. So proud of everything that you're doing. I'm on Instagram Live, and this is the time for our conference call that we do every day at 11 a.m. for anyone who has any questions about your nonprofit or if you have any questions about grant writing. So, Louis, hey, Mellow Yellow, that is DJ in Orlando. Good morning, good morning. If anybody wants to come on live with me on Instagram and ask these questions, feel free to do that. I'm going to be looking down here and looking up here because I'm looking at multiple videos, but I'm so glad to have everybody on the call this morning. We got a few more people jumping in on the call. If you have any questions, you can unmute yourself, press *6 and the number 1. I'm so glad, number 1, that the election is over, so now we can get back to healing. And when I say healing, you know, bringing people together and doing what we do as Americans, and that is welcoming everybody in, having open arms to everyone. So that's what people do when they have their nonprofit organizations. When people start their nonprofits, that's what they're doing. They say, we want to help everyone. We want to make a difference in our community. So I'm excited to be on this conversation with you all. Look, Instagram is live. Good morning, everybody on Instagram. Instagram is lit. Are you guys working, or y'all working from home? Don't answer that. Okay. How can you find a local grant for a nonprofit? That's a very good question. Been asked that question on Instagram. How can you find a local grant for a nonprofit? And notice you said the word local. I love that, local, because I always tell people to start local. Stop going after these national grants or grants from the government when you're not, you know, ready to receive that. And let me, you know, preface this by saying ready to receive it. Maybe you're a small nonprofit. You've been in existence less than 3 years, and you don't have a history as a large nonprofit does, because there's some nonprofits who are making $80 million a year, and some are in the billion category. So local nonprofits, I always tell people to start within a 50-mile radius of your organization. So I'm going to look down here so I can talk to Louis. So excuse me, everybody up here. So start within a 50-mile radius of where you live, either where your nonprofit is based at, whether it's office, if you work from home. Then look at every major corporation. You have your Walmart, your Target. Every major corporation here in America has to give a portion of their money away, or they're going to be taxed on it and lose it anyway. So it's called social responsibility. So think about the organizations that you pass by. You pass them by Chick-fil-A, you pass them by doctor's office, you pass them by so many brand names that you see, and find out what type of giving that they give. Now, if you go to their website, you may not see it right there on their website, because they don't want you to come to their website to ask for giving all the time. So you may have to call or inquire, find out if they have a different website for their corporate giving program, and then, like I said, start locally. So that's how you can find, and Google is a good way, you know, find grants. You got to use your keyword, Louis. You have to find out what your keyword is for looking for funding. This will narrow it down. So say that your keyword is mental health. Then you would put mental health, grants for mental health in Orlando, or grants for mental health in 32805. So use your keywords plus, you know, the zip code, or plus your city, and that will kind of help narrow it down, because you could be looking for grants for days and days and days. That's why I tell people, everybody say, well, I need a grant writer, but I can't afford one. But it takes a lot of time to find a grant. You'll be on the internet for hours, but if you know the techniques and you have the tools by looking for your keywords, then that will kind of narrow it down. But yeah, look in 50-mile radius of your home, you know, just start shopping. Even your malls, every store in the mall probably has a corporate office, that gives away either money or non-monetary donations, and it could come in the form of a gift card. It could come in many, many forms. So always, I tell people, don't always look for money. Think about your wish list. Write your wish list down, because I know every nonprofit needs money, but if you have your wish list, you may need furniture, you may need food. It just depends. So there are lots of things that you can do on the local level. And thank you so much for asking that question. Anybody else have a question who was on the conference call line? Press *6 and the number 1, and I will unmute you, and you can ask your question, or you can make a comment. Anything, whether it's about your nonprofit, starting a nonprofit, or about grant writing, or where to find grants, how to find grants, how to write a grant. Speaking of that, we have Black Friday coming up, November 27th. Go to grantwritingschool.org. If you purchase one class, you can get one class at 50% off. Hey, I had somebody who was on the class last week said she wants to be a grant writer. So this is a great place to come to learn all the tools and get your skill, tighten up your skill set for the grant writing area in grantwritingschool.org. So go to grantwritingschool.org, sign up for our email list if you haven't. Continue to join us on the call on Monday. I see LaQuita Clark has joined us on Instagram. LaQuita was one of the winners for the $1,000 grant a couple of weeks ago. She did an excellent job. I can't say enough. Out of 14 people, she had the highest score. But I will say this, that she did attend grant writing school, so she learned the tools and techniques. She learned what the funders were looking for. I did not look at the grants until I got ready to send them back to everybody. We had independent grant reviewers who looked at them. And I want to say that if you ever want to learn how to write a grant, become a grant reviewer. I sat on the grant review board for United Way, where we gave a minimum of $6 million. Some were $12 million. I sat at the grant review board for the city of Orlando, the mayor's matching grant for HUD, and also the Minority Economic Business Assistant grant. This was for for-profit. So look, right now is a great time, even if you have a for-profit business. That was very rare that you can find for-profit grants, but because COVID happened, and people always say, well, because of COVID is going on, a lot of people can't give up. Look, you better start thinking about that. You better change your thinking, because just because this happens over here, it doesn't mean money isn't moving over there. So when COVID happened, money came flooding down from the federal government, not just for nonprofits, but for for-profit. The nonprofit government grants increased up to, I know it was over 70 billion, trillion, they don't use billions in the government, they use trillions. So there is money out there, even for your for-profit organization. I was able to apply for a grant for my for-profit. And notice I said grant. It was not a loan. It was not a PPP loan. It was not something I had to pay back. It was a grant. So make sure that you're looking for grants for your for-profit business. Now, please don't come to me and say, hey, help me find a grant for my for-profit business, because I really focus on grants for nonprofit, because this is really where a lot of the money is. And you guys, you need to understand that nonprofits, a third of the U.S. economy, the money flows through nonprofits. So when I mentioned that the government was giving away trillions of dollars, there's a lot more that's out there, and a lot more is coming. So if you have your nonprofit and you don't have your 501c3, you need to contact us at multiplyingtalents.com, or you can go to grantwritingschool.org and send me an email. Go ahead and get your 501c3. If you've never written a grant, please attend grantwritingschool.org. Take a small class so you can learn, because you may not be the one who wants to write the grant, but you have to give information to a grant writer. And giving the information to a grant writer will help them write for you and flow better when they're writing a grant. LaQuita made a comment. Hello, everyone. Grant Writing School is the best place to learn how to do a grant. I wish I hadn't wasted my money taking a grant class. Totally different. Thank you so much for that comment. And I wouldn't say you wasted your money. I think you probably learned a lot more in our class, because what I do in our class, and let me go back to that comment about you wasting your money. You never waste your money when you learn something. So I'm sure you learned something. But in our classes, I give everybody the video. I record all the sessions and I give them the video, because a lot of times you go to classes and you're overwhelmed with the information. It's just coming too fast, and you're like, first you're enjoying it, you're excited, and your mind and your brain is going, and you're thinking about all the things you can do and what you need to do. And then when you leave, you sit back and you're like, oh, I got work to do. And like I said, it's overwhelming. But you get the video from our class, and you get to go back and, go over and write notes and do things that you need to get in place to have your nonprofit or your grant writing sustainable. I'm looking at here, making sure no one here is in the caller queue. Thank you so much. And Melanie, I know you said you were driving. If you want to unmute yourself and make any comments or have any questions, feel free to chime in. Go ahead, you're unmuted.
Nope, you're doing a great job.
All right.
You're making it sound understandable.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Melanie said I'm making it sound understandable. And Laquita said, yes, thank you, Master Coach. Coach, you're right. Well, that's why I love teaching. I love helping people. I love doing what I do, because if you make it easy for people to understand, then they'll feel more comfortable. And my goal is really to teach as many people under the sound of my voice who will receive me as your teacher or as your coach, so that you can learn how to get this money, so you can learn how to write grants that will win you the money that you need. And not only that, from the grants, you need to build relationships with these funders, because it's not about, give me your money, give me your money, give me your money, and thank you. No, you need to build relationships, because you never know who they know, number one. You never know when you might have to go back to them again. So I want to thank everybody for coming on. Share this video. I'm going to put this on YouTube. It's always on YouTube. Go to grantwritingschool.org if you want to sign up for our classes. Try to think. Black Friday is coming up. Check for that. Join us tonight again at 8 p.m. because we always have different people coming on and asking questions. I thank you for joining me on Instagram Live, you guys. I was trying to get on Facebook Live, but my other phone is not working properly, or actually it is. That's a whole different story. Again, I want to thank you all for joining me this morning. Thank you all for coming on the line, those of you who are listening. I know sometimes when you listen and you learn by listening. So those of you who are on the conference call, thank you for calling in this morning. And I will see everybody in school tonight at 8 p.m. here on the conference call. Have a great day, everybody. Hey, Joe. Joe just joined. Great to see you. Great to see you. I was getting ready to chime off. Thank you, DJ Meliella. I appreciate you. Hi, Joe. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. I was getting ready to log off. I'll be back here at 8 p.m. tonight. Feel free to come and join us. Ask your questions. Ask your comments. And I look forward to seeing you again. All right. Have a good evening or a good day.